Hi, I'm Jarrod Fry, General Manager of MedinaTV, and I want to welcome you to this year's edition of Candidates Forum.
Hi, I'm Jaclyn Ringstmeier, Executive Director of the Greater Medina Chamber of Commerce, and we are once again pleased to partner with MedinaTV to bring you this voter education series.
The views expressed by the candidates in these forums are not those of MedinaTV or the Greater Medina Chamber of Commerce.
All candidates in contested races were invited to participate. These interviews are meant to be informational without endorsement from MedinaTV or the Greater Medina Chamber of Commerce. Please enjoy this year's Candidates Forum.
Joining us now in studio is Manzi, one of the 6 candidates for the Medina City School Board of Education. So Ann, thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
And why don't you start off first, just for our viewers at home and our voters, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Like you said, I'm Ann Manzi. I'm running for Medina City School Board. I am a certified teacher. I have licenses in elementary and special education, and I have a master's degree in instruction and curriculum. I've been teaching for nearly 30 years now. Most of that has been as an intervention specialist or special educator, where I have been teaching students with learning disabilities, reading, writing, and arithmetic, and making accommodations for them in the classrooms that they need in order to get the services and programs that they need to be academically successful. I have lived in Medina for like 4.5 years. We moved here, like I said, 4 years ago, and one of the big reasons we moved here was because of the school system. It had a lot of programs and services for my children, and we really liked the fact that it had such a variety of programs and services. And but it also, even though it was a large school system, it had a really family-oriented, community-based feeling to it that drew us to Medina. I have spent the last 3 years teaching at St. Ambrose in Brunswick as an intervention specialist, working with at-risk students. And I have tried to be involved in my kids' extracurricular activities. When my son was at the elementary school, he is now at Claggett Middle, I tried to be part of those school parties that we used to have until COVID came around, and just try to be involved in the community as much as I could, in addition to teaching full-time. Last year I did resign my position from Brunswick, and I ended up homeschooling my son due to the whole COVID situation. But like I said, he's now back at Claggett and is enjoying his experience there right now.
Great. Why don't you, for the voters that may not know, kind of explain a little bit about the role of the school board?
Well, I believe the role of the school board is to make sure that we create the policies which provide the programs and services for the families and students of the community. We also need to work along with the community as far as the business world is concerned. And we need to just work together as a team, and that's one thing as a special educator I have a lot of experience in, is working together as a team with parents, students, administration, teachers, and in a board situation to be part of the community. I think we all need to work together to create those policies which create programs and services to build the skills of our students and become a part of our great Medina community.
So what, of course it takes a lot for people to want to run for an office. What made you decide that you wanted to run for school board?
What made me want to run for Medina School Board is because the last couple of years, with a lot of not just COVID, but a lot of political agendas that seems to be coming down from state and federal government, I feel we have lost a little bit of that family, community-based feeling that that I so loved when I first moved here, and I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose that because this is a great community, and I want to maintain that, and I want to keep focusing on improving our curriculum and our skills and building of a good foundation for our children so that they have a better future. And I prayed on it every day. I am a Christian, and God said, yes, you need to run for school board and keep that family-based community instilled and build on those curriculum and skills.
Now, you discussed some of the curriculum and that. We'll get to that in a moment. But of course, you also mentioned the pandemic. So we've had something that came across that's a pandemic, and that's kind of gone to the forefront within the school district. So you're looking at the mask mandates, whether to have a mask, not have a mask, and then also from the curriculum standpoint, remote learning versus in school. Kind of give us your opinion or your stance on those issues.
Okay. Well, in school is always better than remote learning. When you have contact with kids, and you can use, like I said, as a special educator, you need a variety of methods to teach a variety of students, and in-person one-on-one is the best way to do that. However, I am not a mask mandate person. I believe in personal choice. I do not have a medical degree. I have an educational degree, and I believe that each family needs to do what is best for them and their children based on their medical needs. I have no idea what their medical needs are, and with such a debate going on between the efficacy of masks, do they prevent it, do they not prevent it? There's a lot of questions out there. I just prefer having parents make that choice and deciding what's best for them and their children. And if I were on the board today, I would have to swear an oath to uphold the Ohio and United States Constitution, which provides for individual choice, and so I would err on, because there's still a lot of controversy on the science and efficacy, I would err on the side of personal freedom and let them have their choice and do what's best for them.
Okay. And now, on getting away from the pandemic, now moving back actually to curriculum and things of that nature, I guess one of the biggest things is always school funding. Whether it's the state, federal, however it's been funded over the years, there's always been questions about funding. And then as far as the district goes, how do you feel, one, about school funding in general, and then two, I guess, is in terms of the district moving forward, having looked at either a bond issue or levies in the future? Well,
I do know we are looking at redistricting, so I do think we do get a lot of money from taxes, but I would like to, if elected as a member, I would like to look at specifically how it is divided up and where we should prioritize more. And with, redistricting, we are probably going to need to put a bond issue or a levy issue on the ballot to try to raise more money for building. That's for operational functions and building new schools and whatever is needed. And I don't know how that will turn out. I don't, right now financially people are crunched, but it is going to be something that's probably going to happen in order to redistrict and get the buildings that need to get built. But yes, funding is always an issue, and I do think we aren't denied any, funding that we don't deserve or any way, shape, or form. But I think we just have to make sure that we look at our finances and make sure that we are prioritizing what's important and spending it on curriculum and programs that our students need. So, like I said, when I have the opportunity to be on the board, I'm going to take an in-depth look at the budget and see how it's currently being spent and see where we can spend better and where we could maybe cut back. But as far as redistricting is concerned, that's going to be a serious issue, and I know it's one we need to do, and we are probably going to have to put it up on a levy or bond issue for people to decide, are they willing to give us more money to do so in order to help with the capacity of our growing district.
Sure. And good segue into the next question. Then I was going to talk about redistricting next, and your thoughts on that, because I know with the city kind of reaching capacity as far as its population and the growth on the perimeters and the townships for the district has created the need for this redistricting. So kind of what are your thoughts in terms of redistricting?
Well, as far as how they should do it, I'd like to look at a map and everything as far as how it needs to be done, but I do believe it needs to be done. We need to figure out, where our population is at and how we can, if we need to consolidate more, how we can get everybody in so kids aren't like spending 20 minutes on a bus to get from house A to the school and whatnot. I would like to see a map of what is being proposed and see how it's going to work. But I do believe it is definitely necessary. We are kind of popping out at the seams, and we need to need to figure out a better way of I don't want to say grouping, but that's the best term I can think of right now. Figuring out where the best place for our students are to learn, and where the building should be, so that one school isn't overloaded and another school is hardly populated at all. So it's definitely needed.
Okay. And now, in terms of, we talked about all these subjects, and of course with these subjects, if elected and you're a member of the school board, of course there's going to be community members that may not share your opinion on an issue. How do you handle those type of situations where you're dealing with someone that may have a opposing view or a controversial view compared to yours?
Well, I would simply speak to them and try to communicate with them. As far as, okay, this is your viewpoint, this is my viewpoint, see if we could come to some sort of compromise, meet in the middle, so communicate back and forth, see if there's something from that person's viewpoint, my viewpoint, that there's some commonality there. So I would just keep the lines of communication open and just keep talking with that person or people and seeing where we can find common ground. We're not always going to find common ground, but I would try to leave those lines of communication open so that we can.
And then how would you balance when it comes time to vote on things, making that differing of what you would like as a person to see happen, but also what your constituents would like to see happen? How would you balance that?
Well, that's going to be a tough balance, but again, I would have to take everybody's viewpoints into consideration and just kind of weigh the pros and cons of each issue based on everybody's points of view, and again, try to find that common ground and see where we can fall to make the best, so I can make the best decision when voting. And speaking of which, do you have any type of, I guess, pet projects, a poor choice of words, but just something that you're passionate about that you would like to see, if elected, that you could work on for the school district? Well, yeah, like I said, I have a degree in curriculum and instruction, and one thing I'd really like to go through our curriculum, and I know that might be micromanaging, but I would like to see where our curriculum's at and what sort of skills that we are promoting and educating our children with, and just seeing if it's in line with our school philosophy. I'd also like, as a special educator, to see what kind of services we're providing to our special needs services and accommodations that we are being made, and making sure that we are providing what we need to for those students. Again, my background is education, and I want to focus on student needs. Special ed needs, curriculum needs, focus on those needs, and that's my area of expertise, and that's kind of where I want to direct my attention. is meeting those needs.
Sure. Now, what would you say is something that may distinguish you or set yourself apart from the other candidates that are running for this office?
Well, I do feel I'm the underdog because I haven't lived here as long as everybody else has. Almost everybody else, I believe, has lived in Medina their whole life. But as a Christian and a special educator, I am really focused on hitting what students need. I am very student-oriented, and I believe that sets me aside from the others. I am going to keep my eye on doing what's best for the students, more than perhaps rubber stamping some political agenda that may come down the road. Mm-hmm. My job is to keep an eye on what's best for the Medina students and community and families.
We're speaking with Ann Manzi, one of the 6 candidates up for 3 seats for the Medina City School Board of Education. Ann, I want to thank you for answering all of my questions. I want to give you the moment and the opportunity now that you have a chance to speak right to the voters of anything I may have not asked you or something you just want to be able to tell the voters. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you and feel free to speak to the voters.
Okay. Well, thank you. I just want to say that as a board member, you are going to be my #1 priority. I want to make you, your families, in this community my #1 priority. And I want to work with everybody. I want to provide options and programs for our children so that maybe not everybody goes to college. Maybe they need to learn a trade. I know I've talked to businesses throughout the community, and they need kids with skills and to just come right out of school and work for them. And that's what I want to do. I want to work with all of you to create policies which help our students build their skills, not only for employment, but for life. I am here for you, and you are my #1 priority. So please elect me November 2nd to the Medina City School Board.
Thank you again, Ann Manzi, candidate for Medina City School Board of Education. And Ann, I want to thank you for entering the political race. It's always a difficult thing and hard for a lot of people to do. So we definitely appreciate you stepping up and being part of the political process. And I want to wish you the best of luck this November.
Thank you.